Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and we have a full house tonight. I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, glad to be here. The Fab Five is back.
Indeed. Doug Lansdowne.
Yep. Proud to be part of the starting five tonight.
Tom Mathis.
Great to be back. Great to see everybody.
In his new location, his new undisclosed location. Very stylish there.
Yes. Thank you.
And from roughly, a mile and a half west of me, Keith Farrell?
By the way, the cardinal bird flies. I think so. Hello, everybody. Well, good to be back.
In this edition, it is addition by subtraction for the Cardinals at the trade deadline. What can we watch for in the last 2 months of the season? NFL training camp is underway. Is Patrick Mahomes still a Tier 1 quarterback? And it's DEFCON 1 for St. Louis City as the best player on this year's team and one of the best players in franchise history could be headed to Germany. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. You can learn more at 1stcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact our buddy Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. We are on every social known to exist that is legitimate and safe for your office browsing. How's that, Joe? Is that better than last week?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. If you have a chance to leave us a review, a like, subscribe, that's all great, and we appreciate that. We're on YouTube if you'd like to watch us at stlsportis.com. Let's get to quick hits, Joe Sperlin. What do you have?
Hey, football's getting ready to start, and the Akron Zips of Mac Action, they have a little something going on here. Now, this is not available for week 1 at Wake Forest. They kind of made you believe this. But their home opener, week 2, you can apply if you are a season ticket holder to be the OC of the game for the first series for their home opener against Robert Morris. Now, you get one entry if you're a season ticket holder, and great marketing here, Ron. If you get someone else to buy season tickets and they put you down, you get another drawing, your name in the drawing again. So you get to work with the head coach and you get to develop the play call list for the first series of the game. So
that is outstanding
there by the Akron Zip.
So if you ever wanted to draw up a triple reverse with a pass to the quarterback, this is your chance.
I'm going to say that's probably why you have to confer with the head coach that you don't get to make up the play. Hey, here's our playbook for week 2. Pick some.
Probably not allowed to quick kick on the first play either.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I saw that today. That's outstanding. Douglas, what do you have?
Speaking of offensive coordinators, OC, back to our good friend Marv Levy, who turned 101 a couple days ago. Did you know the whole time he was head coach of Buffalo Bills, he never called a play? He let Jim Kelly call every play.
Really?
No.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. He let Jim Kelly call every play the whole time he was the whole time he was head coach.
Wow.
I
had
not
no
know
idea.
that.
Well,
Yep.
We had a coach.
He might be the last quarterback to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I've got more on
Yeah,
our
I
good
can't
friend
think of
Marv
anyone
throughout
else.
the show. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, Tom, remember how they always talked about how Jim Hart here in St. Louis always got to do that allegedly and took a lot of heat for wanting to go deep. Had a little Al Davis in him.
Yeah. he did. but that they would connect a lot of times, so it was okay.
That's true. Tom, what do you have?
So I know we'll talk about it in a few minutes when we get to MLB, but the trade deadline has come and gone, and I don't think it did anything but help the cause for a lockout. The Dodgers getting Tarek Skubal, uh, and you can't fault the Dodgers. They're doing what what they can do, but the discrepancy in money is it's just so out of whack that the between them and the Rays and Pirates or whoever else is just too great. So there will be a lockout. To me, the only thing is how long will they come back for the All-Star break? Will be the season? Will be a season and a half? We'll just have to see. I just hope they fix it.
Yeah, I heard, we were talking last week that Bob Nightingale said he kind of expected a 140-game season at best next year, and I've kind of locked that number in my brain, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping for that as a worst case.
That would be, I think the All-Star break is possibility, in my opinion.
Yeah. And since and the timing they're talking about, you get the feeling that they're just not going to start the season like they did in '81. The season just won't start.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Keith Farrell, what do you have,
I'm going
sir?
to piggyback. Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of what Tom was saying. You look at the Cardinals, and they're definitely prepping for the lockout going on next season. But my question for you guys, and you guys may have heard this, but what does Caleb Ferguson, Andre Plante, Ryan Stanek, Alec Burleson, and Matthew all have in common? They're the only players making over $1 million on this roster right now.
Wow.
Everyone else is under $900,000. Would you ever believe in the history of watching the Cardinals that you would ever see those type of numbers? And the answer is quite honestly no, right? So,
Right.
but what has that done? I think that has positioned the Cardinals for that lockout season. They are doing that whole rebuild. The numbers prove that their payroll is third lowest in the league right now, which is astounding. And they're 18th in attendance. So, which is, you look at the Dodgers, number one payroll, number one attendance, Cardinals, third lowest, middle of the pack with third lowest payroll, middle of the pack attendance. So that's pretty solid. They're getting a good return on that. But yeah, that's the state of the Cardinals right now. Just odd, but prospects, it's exciting. They're getting fans to watch the games. So I guess kind of unexpected, but just kind of a weird state of baseball in St. Louis right now.
It's very strange. That's a great catch. I had no idea that there were that few, and plus for Ryan Stanek to be one, that's just kind of extra hilarious.
Yeah, and we lost 3 of our millionaires at the trade deadline. So goodbye Lars, goodbye Augusta May, and
No.
yeah.
Well, and Stanek used at least $300,000 of his salary to have that special made hat with his hair sewn into the back. So, on that note, so who among us here watched Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary? Yeah,
Absolutely.
the timing on that was absolutely perfect considering COVID. Okay, gee, what are you going to do? Well, that kind of cemented the legacy of Michael Jordan. Well, with LeBron getting ready to retire, he's like, hey, I need me one of them. That's how we'd say it in Southwest Missouri. I need me one of them. So LeBron and ESPN are closing in on an agreement for a behind-the-scenes documentary similar to The Last Dance, according to industry sources. They have said that he will have a camera crew documenting his time with the Sixers, and it is supposed to also use footage from his career that the NBA Films group has taken since he was a rookie, including some never seen behind the scenes footage. They said that they might deviate from the template of Last Dance, but like most everything, there will certainly be comparisons between the two. So watch for, I don't know, what are we going to call that? I'm sure they'll come up with something clever.
Hey, let me tell you this. I'm also going to say that that footage will also never be seen by me either. Because I ain't watching it. Because I ain't watching LeBron. Hey,
Neither
when
will
Le-
I,
I've
Joe.
said it.
Neither will
When
I.
LeBron retires, so will ESPN because it'll give them nothing to talk about.
Yeah. ESPN will move to entirely flag football and WNBA, probably.
Yeah,
Keith,
yeah.
don't you think?
Oh yeah. I don't know if I'll call it, if Michael Jordan's was the Last Dance. I don't know a dance would be called break dancing because all LeBron done was fall to the ground and act like he was break dancing on every play.
The last
Now,
flop.
I was going to say, there's
Yeah.
people out there screaming at us the last flop right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, I'll tell you who hopes not to flop right now, and that is your St. Louis Cardinals. Although they're 3-7 in the last 10, they're 56-58. They're in fourth place, 14.5 out of first place. But here's the scary thing, Joe Sperlin. They are only one game out of last place. That would be ahead of the Cincinnati Reds. There are only 4 games out of the wild card, amazingly. They're in the Bronx as we record this on Wednesday night. Rain delay, so just underway in the first inning. And speaking of the Bronx, Doug, Alec Burleson had a game that we'll remember 10 years from now on Monday night with 3 home runs against the Yankees. That's just not something that you forget about very quickly.
After he was going to be traded, which is even better. So, yeah. And then as we all talked about, and then the next day he gets the day off. So I don't understand. But
And they score this many
yeah,
runs.
and they score that many runs after he gets the day off. Yes, exactly. So
Well, load
he
management.
stepped up big time. He stepped up big time, and he is, he's probably the leader of this team, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, but I think he needs about 5 or 6 guys that are better than him if they're going to be a championship caliber team.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. That for him and Walker and Weatherholt, it's like those are solid players, but you wouldn't hurt to have a couple of superstars that were like better than them.
Mm-hmm. That would be helpful. And like we've talked about, I still think that once they, kind of know where they're headed, that's when they'll go out and get a free agent. That'll be their superstar. I mean, they'll build around Walker and Burleson, but they'll supplement that with the free agent, in a year or two.
Yeah. By the way, Tom, we're giving you a new title tonight, minor league Cardinal minor league czar. So congratulations on your czarhood. As Doug mentioned, Monday was the trade deadline, and everyone is saying the Cardinals came out. They're mentioning them as major winners. Tell us about the guys, especially the 2 from Milwaukee that the Cardinals got.
2 power hitting outfielders. The one kid is 18 years old. Just hits with a lot of power. His exit velocity hovers around 106, if not more. So he's got some power, a little bit of speed. They'll probably both be corner outfielders. So we'll just kind of see how their defense develops. Frias, he's the 18-year-old. He's down in A ball, but man, he's coming fast, it sounds like. And Ragsdale, he's in Double A, and but his strikeouts are very high. I think I heard he like 33% his strikeout rate.
Yep.
They got a couple of pitchers from Arizona, Daniel Egan. He's probably a year or 2 away, but the other kid that they got, a left-hand reliever, I heard that he could be up here pretty fast. So, it's not this year, probably early. Well, I shouldn't say early next year, but sometime next year, possibly. I watched the top 30 prospects. Of the Cardinals' top 11, 6 have been acquired since last year's draft. You start with Liam Doyle. You start with Tanner Franklin. Frias is up there now. So they're really headed in the right direction. And then the other thing I like is they're moving these kids up. Sinche got moved up to AAA. They're moving these kids up and they're really challenging them. And I think that's going to be, really good for them and for the Cardinals. And they've added some outfield depth in the last, 6 months.
Yeah, and they've actually thinned out their outfield a little bit. Joe, how are you handling the loss of Lars Nootbaar? Are you, as a wellness check? How are you doing, Joe?
It's good. Obviously, I'm going to have to take some afternoon naps to stay up and watch the late home games at Arizona. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, it's just business, not personal, Lars.
Yeah, in the end, I think we all were kind of, a few years ago, we thought he might have been a little bit more than what he became, if you'll pardon the grammar.
Yeah.
What drove me nuts was they concentrated on the metrics of hard hit rate and exit velocity, but he couldn't get on base. He was hitting the ball directly to the second baseman. They had him pinpointed. They had the opposing teams had him play defensively perfectly every time. And
they'd give him the hard hit ball right there. Good job. As he come in the dugout. Hard hit ball.
That's what you do in Little League. You don't do that at the major league level. Come on.
I'll take some of Miles's weak contact to get on base for him. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Aaron Miles is hitting .312 by hitting the ball 82 miles an hour over the second baseman's head like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey Keith, what are you going to watch for here in the last 2 months? We got a lot of baseball to play. What are you going to see, or what are you going to look for in this Cardinal team?
I think I'm looking for some consistency, how these players battle their way through the rest of the season. I mean, these are the dog days. These are hot, not very meaningful games for a lot of these guys. I don't see us battling for a playoff spot or wild card or anything like that. So from what I'm most interested in is the September call-ups. I think that Baez is going to come up here and, get a taste of what the major leagues are all about. I would like to see a couple other kids come up and see what the major league's all about. So it's not all new next year. So, but yeah, I was just kind of jotting down a starting lineup for potentially 2027. And, God, we're deep at catcher. I am not impressed with catching at all on this major league roster right now. So I would love to see, somebody come up and do something from that catching position and give it that jolt. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Curious to see if Blaze Jordan is going to take that job at third. He came up hot and heavy, and he's kind of fizzled out a little bit. So I'm looking for him to see if he wants to take that job at third base, and heaven forbid, keep Gorman buried. That's all. That's about it. And the other thing too is Church. Is he going to take center field? So I think those are two jobs that these guys are auditioning for next year. So let's see how they do. I'm okay with Church, and I'm okay with Blaze starting at third base next year as of right now, as of what's on our team.
I swear I've heard the term runway applied there before. It's like they've got some runway here over the last couple of months.
Yes, absolutely. And but John Mozeliak is in California now, so I can retire that term too. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
So as far as Baez, he can actually be recalled next week. I think it's the 13th or 14th. He can be recalled, and it won't affect his rookie status, which is important because now Rookie of the Year is tied to draft picks. If you win the Rookie of the Year, you get draft picks. So he could be called up next week sometime. So that'll be interesting to see what they do there.
The old Mason Wynn trick.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Well, there you go. I mean, as much as I enjoy watching Mr. Therese and Fermin out there in left field, that might be a little bit of a step up, I'm just going to say.
Well, Velazquez hitting cleanup and striking out on a sweeper
Oh.
6 feet out of the strike zone. was
God
enough for
almighty.
me.
And staring at the pitcher, I don't think he took his eyes off the pitcher. I don't even think he saw the
Don't
ball.
think so.
Well, he didn't see the
Doug,
ball.
did that
I
remind you of the
guarantee
wiffle ball pitches you and I used to swing and miss at that we'd miss by like 4 feet? You know?
Exactly. Yes. He missed it 10 feet.
He did. It was horrible. He was going to swing at that pitch no matter what.
He could have brought a telephone pole up the bat and would have missed that one.
MLB correspondent at large Joe Sperlin, your buddy Mr. Scooble finally got moved.
Hey, he's in a better place, as the old saying goes. And hey, I finally realized he's a left-handed Roger Clemens, because when 219 hitting Dancy Swanson hit a home run at him, I thought he was going to cuss him as he went around the bases. Like, you got to be kidding me. I'm going to swing at the first pitch because I know it's going to be a strike. So,
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just skull him with the rosin bag between third and home.
Yes.
Just bam,
Yes.
take a bow, Dansby.
Hey, on that glare when he was going around the bases, I was like, "Yep, he's Clemens." Hey, Major League Baseball's got to like this. 7 American League teams are within 4 games of the last wild card spot. Ooh. But not the Royals. They're 10, so they're the last one. But, Ron, there's 8 National League teams within 2.5 games of the last 2 wild card spots. And as I mentioned, the Reds are 1 game behind the Cardinals. But not the Mets. Not the Mets. They're 12 games back. So as much as Major League Baseball doesn't, or they like that, if they're going to have a lockout, they probably want to have it in October to avoid the Milwaukee-Tampa Bay World Series, as I say every week.
Hey, the lights keep going off at Yankee Stadium during this
I'm
Cardinal
watching
game. Are
this.
you guys seeing that? Yeah.
Yes. This is and Palante has grown a beard. He looks somewhat Amish right now.
How do the lights go off at Yankee Stadium?
That's a good
Don't
question.
pay the bills.
That's a good question. Back to the Cal Ripken Jr. Lights out
Story.
rumor
Oh,
from years ago. At any rate. And folks, if you don't know about that one, Google it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
You'll go down a
Google it.
rabbit hole for a few minutes. Switching over to the NFL, the Hall of Fame. Tom, this is your siesta. You may surf the web. The NFL Hall of Fame game tomorrow night. It's Arizona at Carolina, and closer to home, the Athletic came out with their list of quarterback tiers, which was their most clicked on article yesterday. Doug Lansdowne. It seems that Patrick Mahomes is still a tier 1 quarterback, according to the Athletic. You buying that?
I am buying that. I don't think you change it off of last year based on the skeleton crew he had to play with and the non-existent offensive line. So I feel like that he's proven he's tier 1. Now we'll see how this year goes.
Keith, what was that last year? It was like a 7-on-7, but he didn't have anyone to block for him. So it was, I don't know what that would be exactly.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Mahomes coming off an injury. I think he's, and he's a step slower. I just don't think, I don't think it's Mahomes. I think it's a team around him that's going to be slowing him down.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out soon enough. And by the way, we found out late today they will be playing their home games at Arrowhead Stadium. Sorry, GEHA has gone away. No more GEHA at Arrowhead. Back to Arrowhead Stadium.
I think the chief said, we've got to do something here or they're going to burn the GEHA stadium down if we don't call it Arrowhead for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny because I took the low-hanging fruit in our group chat with some friends. Keith, I think you may have seen this. I said, that's okay because in 5 years it'll be renamed Empty Field. Hi-oh! Joe Sperlin, one of the best one of the best TV shows of this century was Friday Night Lights. Kyle Chandler won an Emmy as Coach Eric Taylor. And in one of the scenarios, he had a really good quarterback move to town. And the father of the quarterback and a couple of his buddies kind of got the coach off to the side and said, "We really think you need to change your offense." And the coach kind of said, "Thank you for your input, gentlemen."
Yeah.
And that's a high school thing. That happens at the high school. Oh, no, it happens at the NFL level because it seems that Shedeur Sanders' father, whose first name might be Deion Sanders, made a trip to Cleveland to meet with their coach, Todd Monken. And the official reason for the visit was to offer a little bit of insight on his son. Deion also said that he was very surprised that this did not happen last year, Joe. Does this mean every NFL coach is going to have to meet with every player's father going forward?
Well, I think he was upset because they didn't call Coach Dion, was his point, I think, that it wasn't Daddy Dion. He was upset that they didn't call to try to how to coach the quarterback that he had, not so much his son, but that's still part of it. I mean, depending on who you listen to at Cleveland, it's him and Deshaun Watson, which that guy's somehow the greatest contract ever that he's still getting paid, and they still may play him. I still say Deshaun Watson will get hurt before the regular season starts.
Yeah. Doug and Joe, as coaches, have you ever had a parent tell you that maybe they weren't utilizing your child exactly as you should have utilized them?
Oh, I know the answer to that question, but go ahead.
Yeah, maybe they've had a little bit of information they thought they should pass on to me, and I told them thanks, but I don't come to your workplace and tell you how to do your job. So we'll go from there.
I had a couple try to a couple times, and then it was an easy, short conversation was ended rather quickly.
There is a soccer coach in Granite City, Illinois, and he told his players, if your parents come to me and talk to me, you will be benched. End of story. Your homework is to go home and have a chit chat with your parents.
Yeah,
I thought
there's a lot of them
did
say
a
that.
pretty good job like that.
That is exactly right.
That is a preemptive strike there, Keith Farrell.
So does that mean that Sanders is going to get benched this year?
I don't think so.
I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall to hear that conversation and how Monken would have did to that.
We just had a pickoff in the Bronx, by the way.
Nice.
I would love to have heard that. Well, it's a shame they're not doing. We said they should be doing Hard Knocks Cleveland at one point. That would have been fantastic.
Yes.
How could they not?
Exactly.
The circus is in town.
Yeah, Cleveland was like, "Are you crazy? We don't want this going out in public."
I mean, you got Shedeur, you got Deshaun, you got Jimmy Haslam. It's perfect.
Yeah, that was a miss by NFL Films right there. But Keith, there's one place that's even more circus-like, and the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers recently described spending approximately 4 days and several nights inside a completely dark room during a 2023 isolation retreat. He said he lost his sense of time while practicing yoga, meditating, and sitting alone with his thoughts. He also recalled seeing shapes and doorways and other visual images in the darkness. He said, "You're just in a room with a little bathroom, a bathtub, and you can't see anything. I did 5 nights, 4 days. You start hallucinating on the 3rd day." He went on to babble some more things, but Keith, I forget, was it Johnny Unitas or Montana or who was the first quarterback to do that? You remember? I know that's obviously a tremendous part of the the Steeler and Pennsylvania kind of training up there.
I don't know, but it takes me a lot less to hallucinate than that. I'll tell you that. So. I don't know, man. I'm going to kind of miss him after this year. This is the guy that always just try to stay to himself, and the guy who, but man, he's got a lot to say. I mean, he's turning into one of the true characters that the game has ever seen with statements like that. So, it's going to be maybe he needed that to get into I don't know. I mean, he's just an interesting cat. His whole life story is interesting, and football is going to retire a great character after this year.
Doug, you're going to miss him, aren't you?
I'm going to miss him more than his teammates will.
The
majority of his teammates will not miss him.
How about him ripping on ESPN on ESPN?
Pat McAfee is a hard guy to stumble, and he tripped him up big time. And it was just great to see that recovery. And it, only a few people on this planet that can do that, and Rodgers certainly tripped him up.
Aaron Rodgers may be that quarterback of playing at that level that when he retires, we may never ever see him again.
Yep. Just in the mud hut, Doug. Just goes to his mud hut.
It's in the mud hut.
Yep. Sits in darkness for days. And on that note, it's time to hear from the good folks at First Coast Steel Buildings and Sander Zempeloff. After the break, could a high school team beat a WNBA team? Mizzou gets another preseason ranking, and is it trouble for St. Louis City? All of this and more when we come back.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
Go ahead.
And we are back on the St. Louis Sportist Podcast. Joined by Joe Sperlin, Doug Lansdowne, Tom Mathis, and Keith Farrell. My name is Ron Cook. And it's time for Loose Ends. In Columbia, Missouri this week, Tom Mathis, the University of Missouri-Columbia Tigers learned that they are number 25 in the coaches poll, but they also learned that their schedule contains several highly rated teams. How are you feeling about that number 25 rating in the Tigers at this point?
So this goes to show exactly why preseason polls do not mean anything. As much as I like the Tigers, they will not finish 25th. I think they'll be. My hope is 6-6, and I'll be thrilled with 7-5 this year because it's a tough schedule.
You'll beat your 3 cupcakes, probably Mississippi State and Arkansas, so that gets you to 5.
Right, and I think Kentucky or Florida.
Maybe Kentucky.
Will Stein will be. Maybe Kentucky. I think Will Stein will be upset that we say that they're going to beat him and his Wildcats, but I think that could be a winnable game.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, Mizzou may be gassed after playing that schedule, as my good friend Laura Rutledge referred to it. The SEC. Hey, I'm going to say it now. Mizzou, welcome to Shreveport. I'm going to start that now.
This might be a year they take that.
They'd be delighted to go down there.
Here,
The former Poulan Weed
Here,
Eater Bowl.
drink, talk about being the fine people and how much they love the people of Shreveport. There you go.
I mean, there's so many question marks about the team. You don't know about the defense yet. You don't know about the quarterback, and then the right tackle's hurt, and that's Simmons' blind side. So you don't know how that's going to, come out. And then Hardy. I mean, you still got Roberts, but Hardy, you're not. If there's somebody gets shot in the leg, you don't know how he's going to run.
Well, hopefully he runs faster than a speeding bullet next time.
He should have ran faster.
That's right. There's things you don't hear a lot of times. Hey, well, he got shot in the leg. We don't know how he's going to play.
That's factually correct, and not something that I anticipated on the Mizzou outlook. And then also, Tom, you got me when you said the right tackle is his blind side, because yes, we have a left-handed quarterback for Mizzou this year. That's well, and then you'll also have your typical euphoria when you start 3-0, and everyone's going to go, look out, here we go.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the whole left-handed quarterback thing. I've had a left-handed quarterback in high school, and it changes everything. And I mean, it's not an easy thing to to adapt to.
And heaven forbid he misses any time, and then you've got to flip it back to a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then he comes back, and you go back to left-handed. It's
Hey,
back and
Tom,
forth.
I'm not a very savvy football guy. I mean, do you have to, your whole line changes then, right? If he's, is that how that generally works out?
Do you mean that they flip, like the left tackle go to right tackle?
Uh-huh.
No, he'll stay at the left tackle, stay at left tackle, and they'll all stay in the same spot. Just the right tackle becomes the most important position. And they brought in one tackle from Arizona State who they expected to be really good, but he's still hurt, and they're not sure when he's going to be able to play. So it just everything. It just flips, and the players stay in their positions, but the responsibilities flip.
Joe, you ever have a left-hand quarterback?
No.
Congratulations.
No.
But one thing that is as confusing as a left-handed quarterback is last week the NCAA, a judge who apparently is interested in the concept of fairness, decided that all of the athletes from the class of 2022 get a fifth year of eligibility. You want to explain all that to us?
Okay. As of Monday night, and this is coming from the NCAA chief legal officer, I tell the kids that they need to go to law school. Heck, I've looked at this enough. I may go to law school. All right. So for now, it only refers to Division I players. Okay. Now, when they started this, they said, all right, then the roster limits, you can come on. No, according to last night, roster limits are still in effect. So all these college teams that think they're going to have players come back, the roster limits and basketball. So the Simmons kid from Mizzou has a full roster. So he does not have a spot. And someone even referred to him, and they were like, yeah, he does not have a spot, even though I don't think he has said that he's planning on coming back. But let's go on past that. Then there's a new one that I haven't heard. If you're a ghost transfer. Now, if you're a ghost transfer, that means that you did not enter the portal during the transfer portal window. Well, guess what? None of these guys entered the portal because they thought they were all graduating and losing their eligibility. So they would all be considered
not graduating.
Oh, yes,
Not graduating.
Their eligibility is over.
Okay, thank you.
So that's where you're a ghost transfer. So none of these people were in the portal, probably.
Sounds to me like man fraud has entered college sports.
Yeah. Now, if a coach was to take one of these ghost transfers, they would get suspended for half their games and the schools would get fined. So I don't know who they think these people are, but then the defensive tackle from Mizzou gets eligibility. Now, like I said, as we talked earlier, I'm assuming he's still enrolled at Mizzou and is not, and Mizzou has a spot. They have eligibility spots for him. But I'll also say this was also in there, and this was probably my favorite part of the entire thing. It said, the plaintiffs have filed to I can't say it. They're
Litigate.
still arguing, some of these issues. No, all of the issues. So the plaintiffs who wanted this, and they said, if you've signed an NBA contract, like we were talking about the kid from SLU, and you're done. Unless you're in the G League, then you could go back to college. No, wait, that's a different lawsuit. So this is not over. But I don't know how how you can take a football player unless he's currently enrolled and you have a roster spot for him and you need somebody. So if Sterling Webb could play right tackle, maybe Mizzou would say, hey, you can play right tackle. But he is practicing with them, correct?
Yeah.
That's the way I understood it. He's the only one I've heard of.
So I just Googled him, and it doesn't specify, but it says he's rejoined the team and will be part of the team for the 2026 season. So I guess he has enrolled in classes now.
But he was not part of the Colorado lawsuit. He went through someone in St. Louis. He went through a federal judge or a judge in St. Louis.
Right. Doug, if a ghost transfer scores from second, does that count against your ERA?
Just Google me. All I do is win.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good question.
Unearned run.
I'm actually more confused now after listening to all that, believe it or not, I think.
It'll change tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
But it all comes down to
that
this.
Going for us.
Whoever sues the NCAA is going to win. And
They
we've been
win
saying that
every
We've been
time.
saying that for years. It don't matter. It don't matter what it's over. The court's like, no, NCAA, you don't. Yeah. No. You're done.
So this bill that's in the Senate right now, the college bill or whatever, the first thing they need to put on there is no judges. And they just need to keep it out of the courts.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. These people are getting too rich, like Joe says.
Well, you'll have to check with our general counsel on that one. Tom.
Yeah. I know where that'll fall.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll have an update on what changes daily on this.
Well, that'll be the Sportist's Legal Minute, which we'll come out with. Watch for a brand extension there. Keith Farrell, let's bring back some sanity, and where to go for that but Clay Travis. He announced this week. He announced this week that he is upping his offer to $10 million for a head-to-head basketball game between the defending WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces and a boys' high school state title team of his choice. If the Aces beat his team, he will give them $10 million. Thoughts in general, Mr. Farrell?
I will watch that pay-per-view event and pay $50 to watch it. And I think I would. I won't be the only one to watch that. It'll be the most political game in the history of sports. The most talked about game in the history of sports. And then he went on to say that he wants to buy the WNBA franchise and guarantee that every player on the roster was going to be basically a biological male, dressed and wigs, and he guaranteed a win every single game.
I think if he really wanted to do that, he should have waited until after he'd bought the team to announce that.
You would think.
But
call me silly.
Yeah, so let's face it, it's a controversial subject.
Yeah.
And, it was, one of the coaches in the league injected her opinion. And I think Stephen A. Smith summed it up best.
Oh boy.
And
Oh
what
boy.
did he say? Because you can support people's rights and believe biological men should not compete in women's sports. And I'll just leave it at that. But I think that's
Yeah.
one line
Yes.
that is true. And I
Yeah.
think that's a that most people, can agree to. To me, it's a safety thing. To me, it's an opportunity thing. And I'm definitely in the realm of trying to protect opportunities for young girls. And listen, there's co-ed sports everywhere. Figure something out, people. Figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, I have two questions for you because I knew the comments would be fascinating, and they were, but someone popped this one up. They said, which size basketball would they use for the game? That is not an insignificant question if you think about
That's
it.
not an insignificant
No, it's
question
not.
for the game.
It is not. It is not. Good question. I don't know. I mean,
They'd have to split the
Yeah.
difference.
good question.
Right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
I will say this much: in 2017, the women's soccer team lost 5-2. In 2017, the women's national soccer team lost 5-2 to a group of 15U soccer team in Dallas. Got smoked. And Carly Lloyd, who was a person on that team, she said it was a great warm up. It challenged us. Yeah, I think the concept's been proven, and I think the WNBA would be would be the worst move in their league to go that route. They just need to do the PR move and move on from that topic.
Yeah, I agree. They have nothing to gain and everything to lose, realistically there. Speaking of having a lot to lose, Doug, our old buddies in Live, today, they came out and said that they
Today.
have an agreement in place that could keep them the tour going for several years, but they wouldn't say who the investor was, and they wouldn't say how much the investment was. But they assured us that there was an investor and that there was an amount. What do you think about this?
I think you've got to say who the investor is and what the amount is. Supposedly 10 events in 2027 is what they said they could fund. So, but they
10?
didn't say 10. Yeah.
Wow.
They could fund 10 events in 2027, but they didn't say if it would be specific to the team event, the individual event, how many in the field, anything like that. So I don't know. Scott O'Neill, he was a big PR guy and he's raised a lot of money, but I think if you get somebody to commit to that, I think you want to say, hey, Joe or Tom said they were going to give 2.5 billion to this. So we shall
Exactly.
see how it goes. Yeah.
So 10 events. What were they at this year?
Well, it was supposed to be 17, but they lost 3 of them.
Right.
So, and they still don't know if they're going to play the last 2 or not.
Yeah, didn't Bryson call a players only? Was it Bryson that called the players only?
Players only meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That always gets a manager fired. So
That's nothing says that there's a really healthy organization like a players only meeting.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, pivoting to organizations that we thought were healthy, Keith Farrell, St. Louis City played a 1-1 draw against Utah. You and I were there in the mist, something straight out of the city of London. In their last 7 games, St. Louis is 5-0-2. That is 7 games without a loss. They are in 7th place in the Western Conference. At this point, they are above the wild card line, meaning they would just go straight into the playoffs. And while we've got all of this good feel-good stuff here, breaking over the last 3 days and appearing final today, Marcel Hartl is apparently going to Germany. That's not good, Keith.
That's going to hurt. I mean, he's your leading goal scorer. He's got such a great energy. But, what came from the story too is kind of the why. Apparently, there's some family issues. Apparently, last year when a couple players left, he was kind of hurt by that. And so there's a lot more to this story. Kind of makes you curious. These guys are human too. They're not just little nuggets on a video game, FIFA game. These are real guys. And they're and did he take to St. Louis? Did he take to the organization? Evidently not, because he's wanted to go. So,
year and a half early.
yes. So, but we apparently signed a couple of pretty decent kids.
Yeah, and it's ironic with Hulsey coming because he wanted to come here to the U.S. Because he and his wife wanted to put their kids through school in the United States. So we've got one guy wanting to go back to Germany for whatever reasons he might have, and then we've got a player coming here because he, heard that St. Louis was a great place to play and the education system was so good.
Right. So when we watched him and Ron, beautiful seats. I love where the vantage point where we got to watch him play. I think you said it best. He was like a little water bug out there. That guy displayed skill, speed, teamwork in just the 20, 25 minutes that we got to watch him play. I'm excited to see him, perform over a course of 90 minutes. So let's get some guys on the field that want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no game this week because it's the League Cup, which, of course, City did not qualify for. So probably a good week to have a week off,
yes,
I think.
So, Ron, tell me, you said he went to Germany. He had a contract a year and a half from now, and he just decided to leave early. It wasn't a team deal of, hey, we're not real happy with what's going on. We'll just let you go ahead and leave earlier. It was totally his choice.
That's one of the quirks of MLS. Now, the team that he has gone to has to work out a financial settlement with St. Louis. So there will be, Tom, back to our attorney friends here, there will be consideration.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
sure.
so they're negotiating that fee, and St. Louis City is going to get a good hunk of change, and they can negotiate a pretty hard bargain here. They can get a good amount of cash, and I think a lot of St. Louis City fans are already expressing on social media that they want to see that amount reinvested, preferably for a striker. Keith, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we'll get it. Yeah, I'm hearing upwards of $4 million. Is what they're going to pay for that move. Yeah.
And in MLS, that will get you that'll get you a deluxe player. So,
all right, there you go.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on it. But yeah, one of those quirks of MLS that you don't necessarily have to deal with in sports like anything else. To be brutally candid.
Yeah.
And so with that, we've reached the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. With over 38 years in the transportation industry, Dave knows where to look to find those pennies per mile that make the difference between just getting by and profit and growth. From one-truck operations to small fleet owners, he has a proven multi-million-dollar track record to help you retrieve bigger profits. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622 or David at blackdogconsultingllc.net. You can also check out his website, blackdogconsulting.net. Joe Sperlin, what do you have for a last call?
As I was, no doubles, but we're just going to do a quick shot here. It's August, so you know what that means. Not only is it real American football starts, but Saturday, Saturday, Little League World Series regionals start with the start of the Little League World Series, August 19th.
Again, folks, that's Joe. No, never mind.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
More to come.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
You can just go ahead and send to Ron at stlsportis.com, and I'll make sure he I'll make sure Joe gets your kind thoughts regarding the Little League World Series. Doug Lansdowne.
Go back to our good friend Marv Levy, who you guys know I think the world of. He, Bruce Smith said he never won a Super Bowl because he had his priorities straight. He wasn't a tyrant. He didn't try to control men, and he treated us like human beings. So, and he turned 101 this week, and one of his best quotes was, "When it's too hard for them, it's just right for us." So, I won't get to 101, but Marv Levy is one of my favorite guys. I got to mention that last year, so I'll say it again this year.
Yeah, and I firmly believe that for a good long time, he's going to be the last coach to run the Delaware Wing T in the National Football League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Probably that will be the last one.
Mm-hmm. Tom Mathis.
With my newly appointed title of minor league czar for the Cardinals, I'm going to get some minor stats. First off, I'm going to say that Josiah Ragsdale, one of the players they just acquired from Milwaukee, hit a home run in his first at-bat with Springfield, so he's off to a good start. So I'm going to give you some numbers of these guys that Cardinals that were sent down. Thomas Sagasi, on 155 at-bats since being sent down. He's got 9 homers and 26 RBIs, hitting a slash of 265, 335 on base, and an 825 OPS. Wouldn't mind seeing him come back up, but he's got to play every day if they bring him up. I don't want him sitting on the bench and playing every third day. So, Keith's favorite player, Nolan Gorman, and 112 ABs. He's got 9 home runs and 21 RBIs, but he's also got 49 Ks.
Oh,
He's walked 27 times, hitting 170. So,
he's got a lot of swing and miss.
Yeah.
170.
Yep.
Oh, 170.
Want that in a pitcher, not a hitter, right?
141 at bats.
Okay.
Victor Scott's 141 at bats. His on base is 306. That's just not good enough. That won't cut it. His batting average is 220. He has stolen some bases, but he also has 11 strikeouts. So he needs to get into the Ozzie Smith hitting style, in my opinion.
Have we confirmed that Gorman is swinging with his eyes open?
No, we have not confirmed that.
Okay. That's a lot of strikeouts, man.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's pushing 40%.
And he spent a ton of time down in Jupiter trying to rehash his swing.
Yeah. And my thing is, too, I couldn't believe how little at-bats they've had. I mean, those guys have been down there for a while, and he's just got 112 at-bats. So,
yeah. Well, by the way, Cincinnati has just beaten the Athletics 3-2, so the heat's on the Cardinals. They'd better pull this out in the Bronx. Or as Mike Shannon would say, gat 'em. Keith, what do you have?
Well, so all this talk about this college football movement, the transfer portal, and what the effects of that and how it's going to trickle down. Well, it's trickled down in our own backyard. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Althoff Catholic High School in Belleville, Illinois. Okay.
Sure.
I grew up in Belleville, so I knew it well. I had a couple of family members that went there. But they have a 5-star punter who decided to transfer to East St. Louis High School, which is a perennial football powerhouse. And I don't know if anyone's ever watched, was it Vacation with Chevy Chase? And but East St. Louis is not exactly known for being a safe, affluent, transferable type of wanting to go to that school. Not known to have the best academics or school safety programs or anything like that. But here we have a 5-star punter who may not punt a whole lot on this team because East St. Louis just destroys every team steamrolls every team that's in their path. So college football, straighten yourself out. I think I think you might save a life someday. That's all.
Wow. Wow. By the way, does anyone know what's your best guess at the population of East St. Louis right now?
I remember driving through East St. Louis and it was 55,000. I bet you it's half of that right now.
Try
30.
17,000.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a shocker.
Mm.
So, but you're never supposed to end on a down note. So I'm going to update our long-haired fella, Harrison Bader.
All right.
Last week, Doug, as they say, details were sketchy on
Yes.
his scooter incident. We just knew that there had been a late night, early morning scooter incident, and that it was his second, it turned out, and that it was quite possible alcohol was involved in both. Well, we found out, as I was walking the dogs, I think I had 5 pieces of new information that we found out. One was it happened after he had left an area where there were many bars. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, it did happen well after midnight. I think they said it happened around 2 a.m., so that's 2. Number 3, it happened when he hit a fire truck. That's right. He hit a fire truck on his scooter.
Well,
Number
those things
4,
just up in different places.
that's true.
Those-
That's true.
They can be hard to be seen.
Number 4, and this is the one that kind of got my attention a little bit. Number 4 was the fire truck then ran over his already injured foot. You heard me correctly, folks. You can check my work. And then number 5, the San Francisco Giants, led by Buster Posey, announced they were not going to pay him anymore until he could be in a condition where he could actually play again. So, despite all of this, my lovely wife, Jamie Kay, and I were discussing that, if this is the end of the road for him with his pearly whites and his flowing hair, he'll end up on MLB Network probably within 2 years or something like that. So,
Man, if there's a way
The
to
thing
go,
about
that's
Harrison,
the way to go.
his family is loaded.
oh yeah,
He doesn't need to play.
he's
Go
out
out
there
doesn't
having
care.
fun.
Yes, he is.
Go out on fire.
He's out there having fun. And we hope that all of you had fun this week on this episode of the St. Louis Sportus Podcast. And we hope to see all of you next week. And until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportus Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.